Hello and welcome to History For Weirdos.
We're your hosts, Andrew
and Stephanie,
and we're going to take you on a journey into the strange, obscure, and relentlessly entertaining corners of human history.
Now listen up, friends, because it's about to get weird. Welcome back to History For Weirdos.
We're glad to be back as always.
And today we are recording in the lovely Spotify studios, which
in
we are
beautiful downtown LA.
We're so grateful every time we get to record here.
I mean, yeah. We get free coffee as well.
Don't tell them that. They're going to be jealous.
Oh, yeah, we get free lattes.
They don't get free lattes when we record here. That would be amazing.
I wish we could somehow, every time we record here, every single weirdo could get a free coffee.
Latte. Yeah.
A free latte, you're right.
Yeah.
Unless, or if you don't drink coffee, like a tea.
A tea latte.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If anyone knows how to do that, let us know.
Yeah, let us.
But yeah, we're here recording today. Last week we didn't have a video. Today you get a pretty video. We just like to keep you all on your toes.
That's right. That's History for Weirdos in a nutshell.
You never know what's coming.
That is true, though.
It is true.
We really have. I mean, and that's what's so funny. Every time, it comes up in a conversation, like, "Oh, you guys have a podcast? What's it about? History? Oh, what topics do you cover? Literally anything and everything.
Literally.
And they're so confused because they're like, you don't focus on a specific subject or time period. And we're like, no, absolutely not. I was like,
that would be too hard for us.
No, yeah, exactly. We have ADHD. We need to bounce around and whatever is interesting to us at that moment.
We were just talking about that this morning before recording, how our favorite episodes are always the ones where we just we find something really random, really interesting.
Yeah.
And we don't care if anyone else finds it interesting. But luckily we have you all and you find it interesting.
Yes.
Yes. Such a win. We gave ourselves that win. And before we dive into this week's episode, which Andrew has lovingly prepared for us, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
We did want to make a request to the weirdo community. We've had a lot of folks share their sadness, their frustration and powerlessness regarding the situation in all the atrocities going on in Palestine these days. So we thought that it would be helpful if any listeners have resources to share of the best ways to support or to stay informed. Please email us at historyforweirdos@gmail.com, and we're going to compile those resources and we're going to share them with the weirdo community, just so that we have something tangible to hold on to. And, if you feel motivated to donate or to take some sort of political action, you have a resource to help you get started.
Yeah. And that actually does remind me to, especially our millennial and Gen Z listeners, which is most of you, if you want to run for public office, just do it. Honestly, just do it. I think now's the time. I mean, the last, I don't know, 8 years or 6 years, I don't know how it all blends together. It's kind of proven that literally anything is possible.
Yeah.
So, my recommendation would be is just the system is gamed, so is rigged. So, if you are worried about running for a political party or whatever, just do the political party that's most powerful in your county, in your area. Just go for them, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, what matters is what you do with that position.
Exactly.
As we've seen, and we've had way too many elected officials do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, or have just been straight up detrimental. And I think at this point, I think we've all kind of realized it doesn't matter where you fall on the political spectrum, but they're all just horrible people.
Yeah, there's way
maybe
too
not
many.
all of them, but a majority.
Yeah, it's never that black and white. They're all horrible.
Right.
But there's a majority that are either passive and apathetic or actively detrimental.
Yeah.
So I do think for the younger folks, like you said, millennial, Gen Z, relatively young, you have such a stake in the future that you should really if you feel called to, if it
Yes.
feels like in a little bit of alignment with you as a person, we back you up. Like,
Yeah.
we support that.
Yeah, let us know if any of you are actually serious about this. Let us know, and we can give you shout outs.
Yeah, send people to your pages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we want to push people who are actually like good people into office. And usually it just, I mean, power attracts psychopaths. So
It can, yeah.
yeah.
It really can, because very empathetic people understand like the pressure that would come with power.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, I wouldn't want, that's a lot of responsibility. But if you're the person that sees it like that, you probably should be in power.
Yeah.
So that could be a good resource to include if there's any like tools to help people run for office. I'll include one that I know that is specific for women, but email that resource to us as well.
Yes,
Because that's a way of taking action.
Yeah, and I think what I want to do is, if there are, you know, I'm assuming everyone who listens to this is obviously against genocide. So if you really, you know, feel strongly about that, especially the genocide in Palestine, I think you can just let us know, and we will back you up.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're taking quite a turn to share something very lighthearted, but we need the balance.
Yeah.
A way that we've been relaxing in the evenings that made us think of you all is we like turn off all the lights in our apartment except like some like ambient lighting, and we watch YouTube videos on astrophysics and quantum mechanics.
Yes, it's fascinating.
Especially like animated ones, like cartoons. What's the channel that we watch a lot?
Kurzagat?
Kurzagat? Something like that.
You know it when you see it. Like,
Yeah.
he has a very specific like animation style.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has tens of millions of views usually.
And he has like a really soothing voice too.
He does, like that kind of like random English.
Uh-huh. Like a very mild British accent maybe,
Yes.
right? But also like his voice is very like soft and yet engaging.
Yes.
So it's a really nice like thing to wind down to.
It is, and you're learning something.
And you're learning something. And we don't just watch his videos. We'll like whatever looks interesting. He just happens to cover a lot of things.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I was like, you know who would love this? The weirdos.
The weirdos would absolutely love this.
Yeah. If you love weird stuff, quantum
yeah.
mechanics.
Quantum mechanics breaks my mind.
Is very weird.
It definitely, I think quantum mechanics gives the most credence to either that God exists, which I fully believe, or that we're in a simulation, or I should say and/or.
And/or. It could be both.
And speaking of and/or, great show as well.
Great show. I think
really
we've talked
relevant.
About that, though.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
And scarily relevant to today.
Yeah.
A Star Wars universe show.
And yeah, that's all we wanted to share. No big updates on our front. Perry says hi. Delta says me. And
that was so good. That's also very true.
That's what she says. Me. In the background. And then Perry says
yeah.
All right, Andrew, what do you have for us this week?
Well, without further ado. Okay, so picture this. Sit back in your chair, relax.
All right.
We're going to time travel to Syracuse, not New York, Syracuse, Sicily, 360s BC. A palace fortress on the island of Ortygia. The high ridge of the Epopole, bristling with walls, and a city that smells like cedar, wine, and fear.
Oh no, those first two were so nice.
Yeah, this third one not as much.
Yeah.
The old tyrant, Dionysius the Elder, is dead.
Yay.
The tyrant is dead. His son has the keys. Into this court walks none other than Plato. Yes, that Plato of Athens.
I know him.
Yes. Student of Socrates, teacher of Aristotle. Kind of a big deal. Also, I mean, he did other things besides, learn and teach.
But that is a big deal.
Those are pretty big. Yeah, that's quite a lineage there.
Yeah.
So he's convinced that he can turn this young autocrat into a philosopher-king. What could go wrong? Spoiler alert, pretty much everything.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So Plato wants to teach the tyrant's son.
Yes.
Okay.
This tyrant's son. And
Dead tyrant.
The dead tyrant's son, yes. He'd be like, hey, can you maybe not be so awful
Like your dad.
Your dad?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a great experiment.
Let's see.
But usually experiments are in controlled environments.
Ooh, that's a good point.
This is not. So, this is the story of basically a big idea colliding with palace politics, right? You have Plato, his friend and disciple Dion. Yeah, so you have Dion and Dionysius.
Oh, shit.
And and then, of course, the two very touchy Dionysiuses. Dionysiuses.
What? Wait.
So there's Dionysius the Elder, and his son is also named Dionysius.
Who's Dion?
Dion is Plato's friend, who is the son-in-law of the Dionysius the Elder.
Okay.
Because he's married.
Confusing.
One of his wives is Dion's sister.
Oh my gosh. Wait, one of his wives?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
So let's set this board, right? This chessboard. Why Syracuse also is probably the worst possible place to beta test the Republic.
Oh, why?
Well, we're gonna get into it right now. So, Syracuse wasn't just like really rich. Under Dionysius the Elder, I'm gonna call him the Elder from now on to distinguish. It was also really powerful. So you have to understand that during the and I'll get into this I think a little bit more later, but they're kind of like the last big player standing. Athens and Sparta in the end of the 5th century BC had fought this giant war that lasted 30 years.
Wow.
And it's called the Peloponnesian War. It's a pretty big deal. And it was like the Greek version of like the World War, like or a world war for them. And it left everyone in a worse off position than they were before.
As wars tend
to do, right? And, you know, Syracuse is kind of like, they're not in Greece, but they're a Greek city on Sicily. And they're sitting pretty well. They're like, oh, we have, like, we really weren't involved in this. I mean, besides like a quick Athenian invasion that ended disastrously for them. And they're sitting pretty. They're at a great, they're great. The Elder, he built up a lot of walls and he fortified the city, but it didn't just stop there. He actually turned off the island of Sicily and he went into mainland Italy. He kind of invaded mainland Italy. It was sort of like a quasi-invasion. We actually don't have a lot of sources for this, so we kind of are just taking things like secondhand, thirdhand from like, you know, authors that wrote centuries later.
Okay.
But what we do know is he started this in the 390s, and he brought over, you know, roughly like 20,000, 25,000 like troops. And
it's a lot of people. Yeah.
He went. There's a lot of back and forth because, you know, this is pre-Roman dominance. So there's a bunch of city-states. It's called Magna Graecia. So Greater Greece and southern Italy is just littered with these cities, like city-states that are disunified. And he wants to unify at least part of it into his little mini empire. And so what happens is kind of crazy. Like he ends up allying with one city. And then they go on a rampage. And he decides that, you know, what I want to do after like razing a few cities to the ground is I want to build a wall. And it's not only just a wall this time. He actually wants to basically along this like 20-mile stretch of the toe of Italy, he wants to build a wall that blocks the rest of Italy from this little part.
Oh.
The southernmost part of it. So that it kind of would be joined with Sicily in a way, right?
So they look more like this is ours.
Yeah, this is our like dominion, which is so funny because it's like, bro, what are you doing? So it was they're either gonna build a wall or, you know, some sources say a canal, which is even better.
Tyrants and walls, man.
Tyrants, walls, or canals, like they're just like, hey, you know what? This is ours now. Yeah. This is different.
This is different.
This is different. Yeah. It's just so funny because when I think about this, I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Anyways, he really, I mean, and this was a serious notion, by the way. This wasn't just like a harebrained idea. Like, they started working on this. and
I
they were going to
believe it.
do it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, the project doesn't come to fruition,
Thank goodness.
and he eventually leaves like mainland Italy to go back to Sicily, to Syracuse, and he doesn't come back.
Okay, good.
Yeah, probably best for all of the
mainland city-states, yeah.
Exactly.
They're probably like, oh, thank God.
They're like, oh, thank God. Okay. I mean, he's essentially trying to build like a giant security system around Syracuse, with Syracuse being like the dominant faction. And interestingly, a lot of historians think that like if things had gone a little differently, Syracuse was really well positioned to have been Rome. Like instead of like the Roman Empire, we could have very well had like a Syracusan empire.
How interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Who knows what the world would look like with that. So this is all happening. This guy, he's raising cities to the ground. He's building walls, building canals, being kind of a tyrant. So what kind of philosopher like wants to walk into that? Who would want to like be with, like in that scenario?
Right.
Who wants those type of vibes, right? Well, have you heard of Plato?
Yeah, I have.
So you know what's really interesting is that Plato, I wonder if Play-Doh comes from Plato.
I'm sure,
It
but I don't
has
know
to.
why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Like
I don't see how they're connected. But I feel like
shaping ideas out of abstract ideas. I don't know.
that's pretty deep for
for like a children's like toy.
yeah. Oh gosh, the smell.
The smell.
So
yeah.
distinct.
It is, isn't it? So now we have that. And I breezed through a lot of that because there was a lot of back and forth between like the different city-states. I'm like, it's not really important for the story.
Okay.
But we're gonna rewind a little bit, and we're gonna explain Plato's upbringing, because I think that also kind of shapes his view on the world. So, and he grew up in a very interesting time. I touched on it just a little bit, but he grows up in Athens while they are busy basically losing the world's like First World War in a way.
Okay, so he's seeing the effects of war.
Exactly. The Peloponnesian War lasted just under 30 years, basically like 431 to 404 BC. And early on, like the city gets just punched in the gut by a plague, and it kills a lot of people, including Pericles.
I didn't like how that sentence came out.
No.
Pericles the human. Pericles the
Pericles
human.
the human.
Okay.
Yes. Pericles the human died, 2,500-ish years ago.
I didn't know that it was a plague that got him.
Yeah, it was a plague.
Wow. Can you tell listeners who Pericles is? Both of them?
Yes. So Pericles the human was a strategos. He was the leader of Athens. He was like an archon, I suppose you could say. Basically the leader of Athenian democracy for decades.
Wow.
And he led Athens during their golden age in the mid-5th century BC. He's known for being an incredible orator.
Yeah, gave good speeches.
He gave great speeches. He was a great leader. He knew how to like run things. If he hadn't have died, Athens could have at least maybe have even won the war.
Wow.
Because he was like, we cannot beat Sparta in a head-to-head combat on land.
It's
We
Sparta.
have to.
Yeah.
It's Sparta. We have to like fight a guerrilla war on the sea.
Yeah.
That is the only way we can win. And of course, later Athenian leaders did not listen to him, led to disaster after disaster, and then Athens loses the war.
Poor Athens. And then the
And
other
then
Pericles?
other Pericles is our baby boy.
That's our baby. Who's a dog.
He's a dog. He's
He's not actually a baby. I could show you guys a picture. Hold on.
I know, that was such a millennial thing of me to do.
Yeah, that's our baby.
That's our baby. He does feel like our baby.
This is him with a cone, so you can't see that one. Well, here he is wearing sunglasses. I don't know if they can see that.
Wait, hold it up. Hold it up to that camera.
I
can see it.
Can you see him?
Yeah.
It's Pericles, the dog, wearing sunglasses.
God, I love him. He's amazing.
It's funny that we have Pericles the dog and then Pericles the person, because in Gilmore Girls, the mom eventually gets a dog and she names him Paul Anka, and Paul Anka's a famous singer.
Oh, yeah.
So they always have to distinguish Paul Anka the person or Paul Anka the dog. And then Paul Anka does a guest appearance in an episode.
Does he really?
Yeah, of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So maybe, he can't. Pericles can't do a guest appearance on History for Weirdos.
If he could, I don't think we would be in podcasting.
Yeah, if we could summon the dead.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty good podcast.
Oh, that would be a great podcast. Hey guys, join us while we summon the dead and overthrow our government.
Oh.
That's crazy. That's where my mind went.
Yeah. But summoning the dead alone would be fascinating. You'd get the best interviews. No one else can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well.
So, funny enough, I was just saying how like later leaders were just terrible in Athens because they were fighting each other. And now you saw the same thing with Carthage, like centuries later when they were fighting Rome. They're too busy like fighting their political enemies at home and ignoring the war abroad. And so one of these things, they decide in their infinite wisdom, you know what? Let's actually leave mainland Greece. Let's go to Sicily. And they actually try to fight Syracuse, ironically.
That sounds productive.
Yeah, it doesn't go well. It's actually quite disastrous, and it kind of leads them to lose the war because their fleet is pretty much annihilated.
That's so dumb.
It's so dumb. It's really dumb. I mean, and then 405 BC comes around. Sparta finally like wins at sea, which is basically what it was like. Whoever was going to win this war was going to be like whoever wins on the other person's like turf.
Okay.
So they win at sea, and they starve and blockade Athens. 404 BC, Athens surrenders, and their empire basically is gone. Their walls get torn down. The Long Walls is what they were called. And like a new quote unquote management team steps in, and they're called the 30 Tyrants.
Oh my gosh.
They don't last very long. So they were a Spartan instilled oligarchy that purges opponents. Sorry, I don't know why I laughed. It's just because it's such a tyrannical thing to do.
Yeah.
They killed hundreds, exiled thousands, until the pro-democracy faction, led by Thrasybulus, one of my favorite names in Greek history.
That's a good one.
He leads a force, kicks out the 30 tyrants, and restores democracy.
Yay.
So kind of like back to where they were
before,
but without their empire.
Right. And Plato is living in Athens during all of this.
He's living in Athens during this entire times with his mentor Socrates.
Okay.
Interestingly, though, two members of the 30, Critias and Charmides, are Plato's relatives.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes. Yeah. It's just really funny, too, because, like, if they had Thanksgiving,
It would be an awkward
it would
Thanksgiving
be
dinner.
really awkward.
Yeah. It would be a pretty awkward Thanksgiving dinner.
I don't know why that came to me.
I don't know either.
So, I mentioned Socrates, and in 399 BC, the restored democracy, in their brilliant wisdom, this is like going back to like the wartime, they decided that, Socrates was guilty of impiety and for corrupting the youth.
Oh.
They convicted him, and they forced him to commit suicide by drinking hemlock.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Plato, according to his writings, is there, and he witnesses it. I mean, and this is the world that he's growing up in. So he witnesses like devastation on a widespread scale that's really hard for us to comprehend. And on top of that, the democracy's restored, but doesn't really go well.
And he loses his mentor.
Yeah. So a lot of the sources actually come from Plato himself. He wrote a series of letters, 12 or 13. I always forget which one that it is. But the 7th letter is what we primarily look at for this, which is interesting and I'm sure you all will remember this because I've said it so many times, but every time we look at ancient history, you have to the sources are all over the place. And with the 7th letter, there's a lot of historians believe that it wasn't even actually written by Plato.
Oh.
Yeah, and that it was actually a later invention, but like recently later.
Wow.
Because the reason why...
Like a contemporary?
Yeah, the writing style is a little bit different, and it's much longer than any of the other ones.
Interesting.
Yes.
So we don't know for certain if he wrote the 7th letter or not.
Exactly, but it is one of our primary sources for this episode.
Okay.
Along with some other much later authors.
Okay.
But I just wanted to shout that out because, if you're a classics person, you hear me, talk about the 7th letter, you might be like, oh my God, we don't know if that's actually real. I just want to be very cognizant of that. But I am using it. Plato, in the 7th letter, Plato himself says that the treatment of Socrates by both oligarchs and democrats people who are pro-democracy, cured him of any naive urge to be a politician. And he concludes that there will be no respite from evils until rulers philosophize or philosophers rule. Either way, the experience is undisputed, and the letter just kind of puts, I think, his feelings into words. And, you know, of course, this is where we get the idea of a philosopher-king, is from Plato. He never uses those words, but that this is the origin of that idea. So what does he do instead? He wants to build, like, essentially a pipeline of future leaders.
Okay.
So around 387 BC, on the city's northwest edge, in a grove that was sacred to the hero Academos, Plato acquires property and starts teaching in what becomes known as the academy.
How cute.
And that's where we get the word academic.
From Plato.
From Plato.
Wow.
So it's a school, it's a research hub, kind of like an incubator of sorts.
Like a think tank.
A think tank also. It's a community. And it's organized legally as a religious association of the muses, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's headed by an elected scholarch.
Is that where we get scholar?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like the vibes here are like part gymnasium, part think tank, and part don't at me unless you've read the math. Oh yeah. So
I do want to point out,
yes,
because you mentioned part gymnasium, how interesting it is that in the ancient world, and the Greeks are a good example of this, they really believed that to take care of the mind, you need to take care of the body, and vice versa. The two go hand in hand. So we think of like academics and scholars as maybe the stereotype is like not super physically fit.
Yeah.
But back then, you would be very physically fit.
Yes, exactly.
Because it shows your mental fitness.
I think it was Thucydides said something along the lines of like, I don't want my, like, I can't remember the exact quote, and that's going to really bug me. But basically he's like, you can't have warriors that are dumb, and you can't have rulers that aren't warriors. Like, you need both.
Yeah.
Like you need to be like a, you know, when you need to have a garden, it's better to have like a warrior in a garden, you know, than have like
a gardener in a war zone.
Yes, exactly.
Totally. I think it is true today.
Yeah.
Like, even when we look at what is a healthy mind, one of the measures is flexibility. And that's also one of the measures for like a healthy body, right?
Yeah.
Flexibility.
That's so interesting. I've never thought about it like that. The more you know.
The more you know.
I love that. So the curriculum of the academy actually did include mathematics. That was really important to him, especially geometry, natural science, dialectics, and training for statesmanship.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah. So exactly kind of like the education before power sort of program that is laid out in the Republic in his foundational work.
And I'm guessing it's all men.
Oh, yeah. It's Greek. Yeah. Greek were super like men first.
Yeah. I'd be hanging out with Sappho instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
poetry, girl time. Like, way better.
Way better. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I would love to be here, but
okay, you go be there.
Yeah.
Fine.
God, can you? I mean, it would be a shame that I don't know how to speak ancient Greek.
Oh yeah, me neither. But if we did.
Yeah.
Assuming.
Yeah, the Attic Greek. I don't know how to speak it. So, I mean, and serious talent does show up, right? Like, I've already mentioned Aristotle, but also mathematicians Theaetetus and Eudoxus. Actually, I've never said his name out loud before. Are also associated with it. And then, of course, yeah, Aristotle does come and he founds his own school called the Lyceum.
What? Oh, and that's funny because lycée is high school in French. It must come from that word too.
It must, yeah.
Lyceum.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
And does Aristotle teach someone else?
Aristotle does teach someone pretty important in the grand scheme of, I guess, world history, Western civilization. You might have heard of him. His name's Alexander. We know him as Alexander the Great.
Oh.
Yeah. Taught him when he was like a little boy.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. Yeah. Damn, man. Can you imagine those classes?
That would have been crazy
I know.
to learn from Aristotle. Wow.
You know, I would be really fascinated if I could understand them. I would want to like be taught by Socrates in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be taught by Plato in his prime, and then Aristotle in his prime, and see like which one I like the most.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I know,
I wish we could like test that out somehow.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. Basically, the academy is like the first university
Yeah.
in a
Very
way,
first,
right?
Yeah.
They call it like the ultimate ancestor of the university.
I think that's appropriate. Yeah.
I think it's fair. I mean, that's where academics come from,
Mm-hmm.
academia. So there was a famous and fun tradition.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's certain, that there was a sign over the door of the academy that said, "Let no one ignorant of geometry enter."
Damn. They're like, Stephanie Serrati, you cannot pass.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be like, even if you were a man, you couldn't go in, babe.
They'd give me one like geometry pop quiz and I'd be like, I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah.
I had to take geometry twice. I had to take it twice. Like,
I'm so sorry.
I failed the first time.
I will
think I
say-
got like a B the second time.
It's my least favorite math,
Mm-hmm.
geometry. I hated geometry.
Yeah. Damn. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be for us then.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, let me tell you about calculus, buddy. You don't even know
You
about
don't
it.
even know. Isaac Newton's not even around
Be
yet.
like, you can't even tell me what a derivative is. I can.
Oh, so geometry is their highest form of math at this point, right?
Yeah, because there's no algebra. There's certainly no calculus. There's no
Mhm.
trigonometry.
Mm-hmm. When is algebra discovered or
It's the-
invented?
I want to say it's probably during the Arab Golden Age, probably like in the 9th century, roughly.
Okay.
Much later.
Yeah. Much later.
So, unfortunately, and this is a not so fun fact, the original academy site, so like the grove, the sacred grove of Academos, was physically destroyed centuries later when Sulla, the Roman dictator, one of my least favorite Romans, by the way,
Blonde-haired tyrant.
the blonde-haired tyrant, he sacked Athens in 86 BC, so again centuries later. But though the Athenian Academy still existed, and it would continue to exist all the way until the early 6th century AD.
Oh, snap.
So about like 1,000 years later, it
Yeah.
would be finally shut down by actually someone also very important, Justinian.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Byzantine Roman emperor.
Why does Justinian shut it down? Do you know?
Probably because it's like pagan or something.
Oh, Justinian.
Yeah,
That's
he
so
is-
lame.
Like his whole thing was one god, one empire.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, oh well. I know. Anyways,
We're not there yet.
so Plato, he's armed with trauma, math, and a campus. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And he wants to kind of like live fire the Republic. He's like, you know, it's great to think about it. You know, the Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they're really good thinkers. But what about doers? Can they do this?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Spoiler.
Spoiler, no. So, one of Plato's like Sicilian disciples, actually is probably his fiercest like disciple in Sicily, is this guy named Dion. So, how do they link up?
Yeah, how does
So-
he even get to Sicily?
Much later, Plutarch,
Mhm.
he wrote Parallel Lives, right, where he puts a Greek guy versus a Roman guy, like kind of like this guy and this guy, like how there's similarities.
Compare and contrast.
Yeah, like the most famous one is Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
So Dion is actually one of the subjects, and he has him paired with Brutus. I didn't read into like why,
Mm-hmm.
but I found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they first made contact in Sicily. Plato was in kind of like the other part of southern Italy, like the heel side earlier doing stuff. I actually don't know a whole lot, but he does make his way over to Sicily and strikes up a very quick friendship with Dion. Dion is like, he actually showed a lot of promise to rule. It's too bad he wasn't actually royal himself because he was very much so more temperate in his measure. Like he's much more temperate, I guess, in his way of thinking, in his actions.
Mm-hmm.
He really did kind of embody the ideal like student.
And did they connect because Plato had read Plutarch talk about him, or where does Plutarch come in?
Oh no, he's just the source. I'm sorry, Plutarch's the source. He writes centuries later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm so
They
sorry.
just happen to meet.
Yeah, they
and
happen
connect.
to meet.
Okay.
Yeah, he details it. And that's like where we know about it.
Okay.
So because Dion is Aristomache's brother, right? And she is one of the wives of Dionysius the Elder.
Okay.
So he kind of gets like a little bit of a, he's not in the royal family by blood, but through marriage.
Okay.
And he gets his first taste of like this rational philosophy from, I almost said Socrates, from Plato. And they're like, he kind of converts really from like this, like, oh, living in court luxury to like, I want to be more moral. And so he kind of joins like a boot camp in a way.
Very cool.
Plato's moral boot camp. And Dion thinks the same arguments that reformed him might reform the tyrant.
Oh.
Yes. And ironically, that it's a well-placed intention, but this causes drama for quite a while, and there's a lot of unintended consequences of this.
Yeah, because you can't change someone who doesn't want to change.
Exactly.
That's the piece that he's missing. Dion was open to having his mind changed.
Yes.
Someone who's a tyrant probably is not.
We'll find out right now, because you're absolutely right, babe. So it's interesting because he makes 3 trips to Sicily throughout his life. This is the first one, and it's very brief. So they must have been quick friends. Like, he must have like convinced Dion very quickly, like, oh, this guy's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has big brain thinking going on.
Yeah.
So
Gave him a geometry quiz. He passed. He was like, you're in.
I
Stephanie
love that.
Serrati, whoever she is, she's out.
She's like born thousands of years later. She's gone. Get out of here. And she's a woman. Oh,
She's
gosh.
gross.
So Plato speaks about justice, like in an audience with Dionysius. He speaks about justice and why tyrants lack true courage.
That's bold.
Dionysius the Elder does not like this.
Yeah.
He's really not stoked about that.
Because if the shoe fits.
The shoe fits, exactly. I think
Yeah.
it hits a little too close to home.
Mm-hmm.
And Dion's like, oh boy, this was a mistake. So he like kind of hustles Plato onto a Spartan trireme for his own safety.
Wow.
A Spartan, ironically.
Yeah.
It's by
So
this
much
point
later.
it's later. And it's kind of weird because like he rushes him onto this trireme or trireme, but at the same time we think that Dionysius must have gotten to that Spartan captain because he allegedly tells the Spartan captain that selling a just man as a slave will do him no harm because they are just as happy under any condition.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's really butthurt
Yeah.
by Plato.
Yeah. Basically called him a coward.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Philosophical and petty.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I can be a philosopher too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and there's this whole, like, I'm not even going to get into it, but I put in my notes, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to read this or not. But, like, there's this whole note where, like, it's, like, almost like a side quest where Plato gets actually sold into slavery. He's busted out. And,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's this whole thing. We're not even certain if it happened or not. If it did, it would have been very short.
Okay.
But he makes his way eventually back to Athens.
Okay.
So, meanwhile, Dion is rising at court because
Okay.
he shows a lot of promise. He's very intelligent and he's methodical,
And now
which
he
is
has
much
philosophy.
needed. Now he's philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
He does he shows a lot of promise. So Plutarch paints him as like entrusted with big missions, even being like the ambassador to Carthage, which, this is obviously before the Romans and Carthaginians had their beef. But right now, the Carthaginians basically have beef with anyone
Everybody.
Greek,
Yeah.
including and most especially Syracuse, because Sicily is basically divided in half. The western half is Carthaginian, the eastern half is like Greek.
Oh, I see. So very tense relations.
Very tense.
And Dion gets sent as an ambassador.
Yeah, and he becomes friends with like a lot of the Carthaginians, which kind of also comes to haunt him later on down the line. Because they're like, are you even a Greek? Are you even a Syracusan? He's like, I just make friends with people, man.
Yeah, I'm charming.
Yeah, literally. It's interesting too because there is this one anecdote where Dionysius was told like a terrible joke about an earlier tyrant named Gelon, who was kind of like seen as a little bit of a heroic figure in Syracuse history. And Dionysius actually had to, Dion had to correct Dionysius
In his joke?
in his joke, and so it really fell flat.
Oh, that's so awkward.
Yeah, I can imagine that, like, Dionysius is like, okay, well, this guy is the brother of my wife, and he actually shows a lot of promise, so I can't get rid of him. But if he was only one of those things, I bet he would have.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to 367 BC.
Okay.
Dionysius the Elder finally dies.
Yay.
Thank God. I bet that's what a lot of people in Syracuse were thinking.
Or they were thinking, thank the gods.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I stand corrected. So Dionysius the Younger now inherits basically like a fortress state, like the predecessor to like a surveillance state. And according to Plutarch, he has a taste for 90-day parties.
What?
I remember on our honeymoon in Bali, the
weddings?
Yeah, the weddings, they'd celebrate for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
I thought that was excessive.
Yeah.
90 days.
I believe Indian weddings are like a week long.
Oh my God, that's insane too. I respect it.
This is 90 days.
I mean, even by Greek standards, this is absurd.
Yeah.
Literally, like, absurd. So, Dion, though, he's smart. He sees an opening here. He's like, maybe Plato can educate this young man, just like he did with me. Maybe he can turn him around. It's not a, like, because right now he's like a soft tyrant. He likes to party and do stuff, but, like,
he's spoiled.
He's spoiled. He's a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way to put it.
So he's like, if we give this spoiled young man these tools, maybe it'll like strengthen his mind.
Yes,
and
exactly.
He'll be better.
Exactly. And remember how I said Plato was really into geometry? It's because Plato really admired Pythagoras, or how we say in English, Pythagoras. Most notably, the Pythagorean theorem. And actually, interestingly, Pythagoras had a cult that still worshipped him even in this time, and he was old. He had been dead probably now by, I don't know, 150 years or something. He lived a long time ago, and so he still had a cult that like worshipped him, and they had some strange ideas as well. I'm not going to get into it, but they also were really into math, so they kind of had this alliance. And Pythagoreans from Italy actually join the chorus. I'm so used to saying the Greek pronunciations of words. And Plato like agrees to come with them. They kind of form this alliance. They're like, hey, why don't we all go to the Syracusan court and let's like really educate this young man.
Okay.
And try to make things better. So, and for a hot minute, this actually works. Dionysius the Younger, is really receptive to Plato's ideas.
Okay.
And and Plato even gets like a red carpet entrance when he first comes. I mean, not literally, right? But they treat him as like an honored guest.
Okay.
Very different than the last time he was there.
Right.
And this unfortunately doesn't last very long. Of course, right? The court counterattacks him. They don't like that there's this philosopher that has so much sway over
their tyrant.
Especially a young tyrant who's very easily moldable, right?
And by the court, you mean like the nobles that are there kissing this guy's butt.
Yeah, it's really actually not much different than courts of like, medieval history.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, like the circumstances are very different, but
it's just like that. It's noble families that are hanging around.
Exactly.
And they want to have influence over the ruler.
Yeah, from like a socio-political and power politics perspective, very similar.
Okay.
And the regime recalls this guy named Philistus, who I could go on an entire episode just on him. He's crazy. But he was friends with Dionysius the Elder.
Okay.
And he was exiled for some reason, but was still friends with him. I don't know. I mean, maybe they go back. But he was kind of like what would you call it? Like the fixer or the head of comms. He was kind of like their propagandizer.
Oh, interesting.
He was the head propagandist, I should say,
Okay.
of the elder, Dionysius the Elder. So, spin doctor. That's what I put in my notes. That's what I wanted to say.
That would not be very helpful. That's
No.
what does that mean?
Yeah. A spin doctor?
Yeah.
You never heard that?
No.
Oh, yeah. It's basically just a propagandist.
Propagandist is more clear and
It is.
direct.
It is. It is. I mean, there are a lot of, right now in our current government, there's a lot of spin doctors and propagandists.
Spin doctor sounds like you're a DJ. Yeah.
That's actually, oh my God, DJ Spin Doctor.
Mm-hmm. It'd be great.
Someone do it. Anyways,
Let me back up a little.
Yeah.
'Cause this was a little...
It's a little confused. I know, there's a lot going on.
So, the cult of Pythagoras
Yeah.
picks up Plato. They go to Syracuse. They are molding the younger.
Yes.
And the court is like, we don't like this. So they go and get
Philistus.
Philistus, the propagandist.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that might have been a little confusing. He's kind of brought in to be the philosophy antidote from their
Oh,
point of view. Because,
yeah.
philosophy totally needs an antidote.
Propaganda would be a good antidote.
That's true. It really is. Oh, yeah. So Dion is accused of plotting. Yeah, he's
Wow.
plotting against Dionysius.
Even though he's just trying to help him.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
literally just trying to help him. And he's exiled. His property is sold, and but Plato's still there. He's trapped. Like, he's like, oh, my sponsor's gone, and now there's this kid who's kind of a psycho running things, and who's also being like molded by this dude who's not a good guy.
Okay.
And so, what am I going to do here?
Mm-hmm.
So, Plato describes being kept uncomfortably close, so kind of like think guest / hostage,
Yeah.
until Archytas of Tarentum,
Mm-hmm.
who was, I don't know if he was a Pythagorean himself, but he was at least allied with them. He engineers a rescue via state trireme.
Oh, wow.
So he has to get on another trireme again.
Wow.
And he quickly returns to Athens.
Okay.
Um,
Thank goodness.
he debriefs Dion, who I think also goes to Athens. It's really unclear kind of like what's happening between like all of this, but
Dion.
Dion, yeah, is also, I'm assuming he's also in Athens. They come back to Sicily for a third time.
That's not a good idea.
Yes.
You know why they do this?
Yes.
Because they weren't consulting any women.
That's true. Yes. Oh, and I'm sorry. They as Archytas and Plato.
Mm-hmm.
Dion is still
Right, because he's been exiled.
he's been exiled. Yeah.
They need a girl to be like, you guys, this is a dumb idea.
It's a really dumb idea.
Let's not do this.
I know. It's so dumb because it doesn't work. It's another quick visit.
Mm-hmm.
The third
Yep.
quick visit, more or less. And this happens in around like 361, 360 BC. Ends the same. Suspicion, stalemate. Finally, safe passage back to Athens. Thank you to Archytas.
Oh my gosh.
This poor Archytas guy's like, man, this is just some BS.
Yeah, I'm just rescuing Plato.
Yeah. Also, they as in Dionysius, I think makes a really crucial error in that not only does he take the wealth of Dion, he also forces Dion's wife to remarry Timocrates, a loyalist to the regime.
Ooh.
Dion is
Pissed.
pissed.
Yeah.
It was like an insult.
Of course.
Yeah, it wasn't just like oh, I'm
He
consolidating
meant to
power.
humiliate him.
It was a humiliation, yeah.
Yeah.
Dion, in 357 BC, so a few years later, Dion's like, screw that,
Yeah.
I'm coming back. And he comes back with only like a few hundred, like 800 like armed mercenaries. So
Okay.
not a huge force. He runs into an old friend of his, ironically enough, a Carthaginian named Sinalus.
Okay.
And and like at first he like captures them, and then he's like,
Who
you know
captures
what?
who?
Sinalus
Captures Dion?
Dion and his, because it's a small force,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, he's like, what do you like? Because they're blown off course. It's like a whole thing, and then Sinalus is like, you know what, buddy, like we're buds, and also like, screw this guy, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Like it's really interesting because Dion arrives in Sicily, in Syracuse, while Dionysius II is away.
Mm.
And so Dionysius II has his own son Apollocrates is kind of ruling in his stead,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the city falls, or like I should say half the city falls pretty quickly. Because the way Sicily, and I should have said this earlier, but the way Sicily is geographically, I'm going to look at the camera. You have like one side, half of the city is on the mainland Sicily. There's this like really small channel,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have an island of Ortygia,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the other half.
Mm-hmm.
And so the island holds strong under Apollocrates at first.
And it's the mainland part that falls?
Yeah, and the mainland, the outer city, flips.
Okay.
Philistus races in with a fleet to crush the revolt, but he loses and dies, and the regime basically loses its hardest thinker along with its like small fleet.
Mm.
And yeah, it's kind of complicated what happens, but this like eventually the siege kind of just grinds on. You have street fighting. It's really brutal. And there's a sack of the garrison, and basically like the entire population is just riding like a roller coaster of terror, because it's just like it's Syracuse and fighting Syracuse, and you don't know like who's on what side, and it's
Chaos.
just eventually though, Apollocrates surrenders Ortygia and flees. Dion kind of enters as a quote unquote liberator to some extent. And he gives himself the title Strategos Autokrator. So basically a man with emergency powers,
Okay.
and briefly even has the crowd at his side.
Okay.
But we can see, you have phase 1 is topple a tyrant. Phase 2 is harder. That's please the people, pay your troops, write a constitution, and don't get stabbed.
That's a lot to do.
It's a lot to do. How do you think this is going to go?
I think it's, by the fact that you're asking the question, not good.
Yeah, it doesn't go well. So, Dion has been hardened by his experience, for lack of a better term, really.
Yeah. He got shafted.
He got shafted. His wife was taken from him. His
Which is
property,
like your property.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and his other property, all of his property was escheated. He's like, oh, screw these guys. So he's very severe. He's orderly. So he kind of like goes, in a way, he almost resembles Dionysius the Elder in an ironic twist of fate.
Mm-hmm.
So Heraclides, a charismatic naval leader, becomes like the people's tribune underneath him. And they have this sort of weird rivalry where they're like friends, they're frenemies.
Mm-hmm.
Also another, I mentioned that like Syracuse could have been like the new Rome. That's another kind of interesting dynamic that Rome also has, like a people's tribune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these two, they cooperate, they feud, they kiss and make up, they feud again. Dion publicly pardons him twice, in such a short amount of time too, because they must have really been butting heads.
Yeah.
Their coalition on basically ruling the city is very fragile, because he needs this guy. He needs Heraclides. He is like the representative of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, though, Heraclides is murdered by Dion's partisans.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah. We don't know if Dion ordered it or not, but it is a moral stain against Dion, and it definitely questions his legitimacy.
Right? Because it represents you betraying the people.
Exactly. You can't do that. You cannot betray the people.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, the mercenaries are still there. They're expecting to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they helped him. They did their job.
Yeah, but Syracuse is exhausted by war and by just like a tyrant being propped up and then dying, and then another one being propped up and dying, Let's enter. Then you have Callippus. I know, I love these Greek names. It's another one. He's an Athenian in Dion's circle, and tradition actually links him to the academy, which is very ironic. Because he swears a sacred oath to Dion. And during the Chorea, Callippus's men smuggle in like a short sword and like into the ceremony because it was sacrilegious to have any sort of violence during like a sacred holiday or festival, but they do it anyways, and they assassinate Dion.
Wow.
Yeah, a man possibly linked to the academy. We're not sure though.
Okay.
But he was an Athenian.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and this is actually sacrilege, and I think in a way though it could have been recompense for Dion, at least his partisans, killing Heraclides.
Mm-hmm. Also sacrilege, yeah.
Also sacrilegious, yeah. Yeah, it's really bad. Basically, Callippus only rules for 13 months
Mm-hmm.
before he is too chased out and murdered.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically Syracuse's favorite hobby right now,
Yeah.
is like chasing out tyrants and possibly killing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, finally, though, like I think they must have had an appeal to Corinth because Timoleon, who is not even like related to Syracuse in any way, but the state of Corinth sends this guy Timoleon and to kind of quell this whole thing. In a few audacious seasons, he coaxes the surrender of Ortygia and the ships, and he also ships Dionysius the Younger. He's still around,
Right.
and he gets shipped off to live in Corinth as
Okay.
like kind of as like a prisoner, but like a
royal prisoner.
royal prisoner. It's like
Mhm.
he's living a pretty cushy life. I'm sure this guy actually doesn't mind.
But they just want to keep an eye on him.
Exactly, and this guy Timoleon, he breaks kind of like the local gangs, the strong men, for lack of a better term, the organized crime, and gives Syracuse like a working civic corps. He even actually, when he's there, he fights Carthage because, of course,
Yeah. You're
Just-
always fighting Carthage.
you're always whether you're a Greek or Roman, you're fighting Carthage.
Yeah.
That is just like that is
That's
a
your
theme.
life.
Yeah, it never goes away, right?
Yeah.
And he also tears down like a citadel that had been outside the city, that was built by Dionysius the Elder, and he
Okay.
tears it down. It's a very symbolic gesture because
Getting
he's
rid
like,
of the tyrants.
the tyrants are done.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, they're not, but
Mm.
that's a story for a different time.
Mm.
So it's like basically he's not a philosopher-king by any means, but ironically he's the most capable of all these leaders, and he isn't like a tyrant himself. He's there to like kind of clean stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to like clean up the mess,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a huge mess. Plato didn't live to see Dionysius II strolling Corinth street, which is really interesting because Plutarch writes again centuries later that it's kind of like on brand. It's like, he introduces this idea and then he's like, oh, okay, I'm out of here. It doesn't have to like actually see kind of any like the consequences.
Plato?
Plato, yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, it's interesting because like I still admire Plato, and I definitely hold him in high regard. But after doing a lot of this research, I have a more, I think, comprehensive view of him as a person.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's a man at the end of the day. I think in my head I held him up to this mythical standard
Mm-hmm.
because we do in the
I think
Western
so.
civilization, Western tradition.
Him, Socrates, and Aristotle all feel
three.
like, oh, they're better than everybody else.
Yeah, and Aristotle we know was insanely racist.
Wow, really?
By like he was a Greek supremacist.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone else was like not like
Specific.
true humans. Yeah,
Oh my
Greeks were the
gosh.
best.
Ew.
Everyone else, no.
That's so, like, stupid.
I know, it's interesting because even Alexander the Great didn't think like that.
Yeah.
Like
But
he used that type of mentality for
his advantage.
his advantage, exactly.
Yeah.
But from like a ruler perspective, but he didn't believe that.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It does seem like this was a very half-baked idea
It was.
for Plato.
It was. It was not his like shining moment
Mhm.
to say, but it does inform him when he writes later, like because he's kind of writing the Republic during this time. It's
Mm-hmm.
really unclear like what the time frame is, if he's had already written it, if like what's going on. But we know for a fact that, or I shouldn't say for a fact, but we're 99% sure that when he's referencing the archetype of the tyrant, a lot of it comes from Dionysius the Elder.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And some from Dionysius the Younger as well, but mostly Dionysius the Elder.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a whole thing with like a fake conversation between him and Socrates, or Socrates and like the reader.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really interesting how that works out. So in the Republic, the answer to political chaos is rulers, trained for decades, right? Math, music, moral discipline, dialectics, the full academy boot camp, so that power and wisdom can finally share like a single brain, right? And again, I mentioned this earlier, it's the birthplace of the philosopher-king, but we see in practice that doesn't necessarily always work out super well. And in fact, I've heard some historians equate some ideas of the Republic to like North Korea.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would never think that.
I would never think that either.
Granted, I haven't read it. We have it.
We have it. I have. I'm not going to lie, guys. Don't come at me, but it's kind of boring at times. It's a tough read.
I'm sure for modern readers, it's very boring.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough read. So, but let's drop that syllabus, right? Into, we have like a real life case study. Like, can this work? Like beyond just theory, but you get, flattery, payrolls, and fortresses. So like corruption.
Yeah.
Essentially with a lot of power. And especially, he didn't do this with just a minor city-state, which would have been a lot smarter. He did this with the most powerful Greek city-state at the time.
Well, plus it doesn't make sense because so the Younger and Dion weren't like raised in his academy.
Correct.
As young men. They both are being exposed to these ideas later. And the Younger has already people around him that want to influence him with different ideas.
Right.
So I think it's pretty obvious it's not going to work out. It's surprising to me that they really do try it.
I mean, like really smart people can have disastrously horrible, like stupendously stupid ideas.
Yeah, because why? Like, it would only make sense to me if the Younger had sought Plato out and was like, I'm actually really interested in learning from you.
Exactly.
But since they're trying to force these ideas onto him, and they're doing it so overtly that it's triggered the power politics of the court, like that's so stupid. If you're going to try to give this ruler your ideas, your morals, you have to do it so undercover.
Yes.
And so subversively that no one picks up on it, no one that could be threatened.
Plato should have had you. Imagine.
But they didn't want to ask any women what to do. They didn't want to.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I find it so like dumb, honestly, because like who is involved? Like who knows interpersonal relationships better than women at this time?
Yeah.
And or even now.
Because in Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction, he starts off the book with that way of seduction historically has been seen as a women's art and thus was given a negative connotation.
Yes.
Right? But it is essentially just the art of influence. And women had to learn the art of influence in more subversive ways because men had been subjugating them. So
Right.
like what else? You can't be overt with your like moves for power. You have to be subtle.
Exactly.
So Plato really could have used the art of seduction.
He really could have.
Understand.
Yes.
Because it's also, I think I fall prey to this as a therapist sometimes. I have to remind myself, you are a teacher when you have a willing student. You can't just teach at someone.
That's such a good that's so profound and so simple.
Oh, thanks, babe. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have, like, Dion's a willing student.
He is.
But then Dion gets he gets like his villain origin story, it sounds like.
Yeah, he does become the villain at the end of the day,
Yeah.
which is really sad.
Yeah, he's like very typical like Marvel villain.
Oh, now
What?
I get it. Now I understand why Plutarch and like paired Dion with
Brutus.
The good,
Oh.
someone who has strong ideals but
Ends up
becoming a
doing-
villain and destroying the thing they sought to preserve.
That makes sense.
Damn.
That's a
Now
really
I
good
get it.
parallel.
That's parallel lives, baby.
Wow. I
Yes,
love
and
it.
our friend,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, and I'm forgetting his name. What? Oh, this is so embarrassing. Our friend, Professor Gerval,
Oh, yeah.
the Gerbs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, my head.
Robert Gravel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Robert Gerval. He taught his big, one of his classes that he taught, that he told me at least that was his favorite, was Parallel Lives.
That would probably be such a fun class
He's
because you get
told-
to go so deep.
Yes, he told me, he's like, you should really take it. I'm like, man, I really should.
You hanging out with all the undergrads?
I know. I'd be like, yeah, guy in his like early 30s, like hanging out with kids in their like late teens, early 20s.
You'd be the most enthusiastic student for sure.
I would.
Yeah.
I know. It's really a shame that, like,
You get to appreciate learning after.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is
You're
a shame.
in college, which is a very privileged place to be. You don't see that. You don't see the
No.
privilege of like, oh, my job is just to learn things.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh, I have to learn things.
It's like, dumb.
And my job is to party.
That's literally what I thought.
Me too. I thought the whole point of this is to party. That's how we met. Partying. Not
was.
learning.
And that's true. We never shared a class together.
No,
Even
never.
though we went to the same university.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Let's get us back to
let's
Plato.
get us. That's right. I don't even know where I was. Oh yeah, I'm just kind of like wrapping up. This was tough. Like this was tough for Plato because he does kind of write later on, in his later like laws that he writes, that the star of the show isn't a perfect ruler, it's law. So painstaking civic education, mixed institutions, and a legal order sturdy enough for fallible humans. That's what that is his ultimate like kind of conclusion.
Takeaway.
Yes. And many scholars read this as kind of Plato's sober second best turn, not abandoning the Republic's insights necessarily, but translating them into systems that you don't have to be like a unicorn to run. So that's, I mean, and he is.
I see that his
Yeah.
original hypothesis is a unicorn ruler.
Pretty much.
And like if you get one, amazing. How are
Right.
you going to guarantee a second one?
Exactly. I mean, we see this in Rome, right?
Yeah.
For every Marcus Aurelius, you're going to have Marcus Aurelius's son, Commodus.
Yeah,
who
exactly.
sucked.
Yeah. So you need the systems to be people proof.
Exactly. It's all about system building.
Oh, okay.
He was a little ahead of his time, actually.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
course
very
correction.
intuitive.
Mhm.
Yes. And that's why also I realized, when I look at him, I'm like, oh, obviously he's not infallible, but he corrects his mistakes.
Yeah. That is a sign of intelligence. Someone
Yeah.
that can look at, these were my ideas before, and now I'm going to amend them.
Yeah. It's too bad he didn't have like a lab, like a political theory lab that was a little bit more contained and smaller.
Yeah. Just to practice.
Just to practice. Yeah. It's not, that would be like me going to like, what's like a really big country? Like Indonesia. Not the biggest, but a very big country, and being like, you know what? I have these kind of crazy ideas and I'm going to like
Test them out
test
here.
them out here. Yeah. Not when hundreds of millions of lives are at stake, you know?
No. You test it out in like at the academy maybe.
Yeah,
What if
maybe like
we
a small like
choose
community.
a ruler from this community.
Yeah, maybe start with like smaller cities
Mhm.
and then kind of work your way up.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
But he didn't have me.
He didn't have you or me or Robert Greene.
That's sad.
I love how we're like, Plato would have been so much better off with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like so much human experience
Exactly.
that we've learned from.
And you know what's interesting to me is like at the kind of the core of this is like, it's not about tyrants. It's not about, political theory even. It's about friendship.
What?
Yeah, the friendship, the emotional core. It's like its emotional core of this episode is Plato and Dion, right?
Oh.
They're buddies, like they're friends, and they have these lofty ideals that they want to help each other out with.
That's true.
And it just gets so, by circumstances that are so far out of their control, it gets diverted from that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a mess that you need some outsider to come in and fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also would have benefited from contemporary Eastern philosophers at this time
Yes,
to
exactly.
teach them there's the things within your control, and then there's all the things outside of your control.
Yeah.
So you have to account for all the things outside of your control too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting to me because I feel like this read as a Greek tragedy, but this was
Mhm.
history. This is
Yeah.
real. I mean, so many deaths, so many, tyrants. Like, and what we often forget, like I've only concentrated on, like maybe less than a dozen people,
Mm.
right? But they're all at the top of their society.
Right.
I didn't really touch. I only very, very briefly touched on like the average person whose life was like immeasurably worse by all this instability
Yes.
and by the rule of tyrants.
Yes.
So,
It's the citizens that suffer the most.
and it's always that case. It doesn't matter if it's 2,500 years ago or today. It's
Yeah.
always the citizens.
Yeah, like sure, there's up here top level tragic stories, very
Right.
sad, but it's everyone else at the bottom, so to speak, that is suffering the most.
Yeah. Tyranny is never cool.
Tyranny's never cool. That would be a good shirt
Tyranny is never cool.
or a
So-
good hat or a tote
that's
bag.
oh my gosh, maybe we should add that to our merch.
Tell us, weirdos, in the comments of this episode.
Yeah.
Do you want merch that says tyranny is never cool?
It's like, it should be such a duh.
Duh.
Well, that's it. That is the story of, Plato and his foray into Sicilian politics that did not go as he planned.
Wow. Thank you so much for teaching us that. That was something I didn't know pretty much anything about Plato outside of the fact that he learned from Socrates and taught Aristotle. I think that, and wrote the Republic. I
Yeah.
think those are all the things I knew about Plato.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a lot of what I knew. And then I just happened to come across this story and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. There's like a dude trying to like build a wall or a canal across like the southern part of Italy. There's Plato coming in and being like, hey, let me try to help you not be such a tyrant. And then it just goes so disastrously.
Goes so wrong.
There's friendship in there as well.
Oh.
Also, something I didn't mention earlier because it wasn't really relevant to the story, but I do think it's kind of cool, is that the Pythagoreans believed that like math ruled everything.
I could see that.
And it's interesting because they're not wrong.
Yeah.
I think they couldn't understand like things like quantum mechanics.
Imagine showing them
Oh
the
my
YouTube
gosh.
videos on quantum mechanics.
They would freak out. I mean, they don't even have the math to understand that yet. It hadn't been
Yeah.
invented. Like, it's crazy.
But I will say I also don't have the math to understand
It's
it,
true.
and I still get it, and I still get that it's like so mind-blowing.
That's also fair. Like, I don't understand that math.
No, when they like briefly go over the math, like I get the concept, I don't get the implementation of it. I don't understand.
I mean, when math's like, when it goes from like, there just aren't numerals anymore, and it's just like all these like squigglies.
All
and-
the squigglies.
Yeah, like I know some of the squigglies, but I don't know all the squigglies.
The squigglies are so confusing to me.
I took like calculus for business majors in college. Oh, I did take calculus BC. Actually, my high school calculus class was harder than my college calculus class.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
I took stats 3 times. Not because I failed. Wait, I didn't. I failed geometry. Okay. That I admit.
Guys, you can tell math is not Stephanie's subject.
But stats, I took the first time. I don't remember what I got. I think I got a C the first time in college.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That was at SC. And my TA tried to help me better understand stats to prepare for the final by giving me like Lord of the Rings sort of metaphors and analogies.
That's really interesting.
It helped a little bit, so I got a C. And then when I was applying for graduate school, statistics was a requirement for pretty much any social work program. So I was like, I want to bump my GPA. I'm going to retake stats because the second time I'm going to get an A, right? Right? I didn't get an A. I got a B. The
You got a
second
B,
time.
though. That's better.
I did better. And then when I went to Columbia, they were like, oh, we don't care that you took stats already.
Twice?
Twice. Everyone has to take stats with us,
And you're like, no.
or you test out of it. Do you think you can test out of it? And I was like, no, because I've taken it twice and I've only gotten a B so far. So pretty much everyone had to take stats.
Yeah.
So I had to take stats a third time and I got like a B plus. the third time.
That at least you improved every time.
Every time I got a little bit better at statistics.
Maybe if you took it a fourth time, you get an A minus.
Ooh, I'm going to say yes.
We're just going to say you did it.
But no, we're not going to say I even took it a fourth time. That would be so embarrassing.
Okay, actually, fair enough.
But yeah, I would not like all the numbers involved in being one of like Plato's homies. I'd be like, do we need this many numbers? I don't think
you know
so.
what's interesting? They didn't even have Arabic numerals at the time.
They didn't. You're right.
I don't actually know what, because the Roman numerals are Roman.
What
I don't
are
know what
Greek numerals?
I actually don't know.
Arabic ones make the most sense.
I mean, they're by far the best.
They're by far.
I love Roman history. I love everything Roman, but
yeah.
No, thank you.
Did you see it's like viral on Instagram, the video of there's like a group of women. I don't know what Arab country they're in because they don't give the context, but they have a local guide who's explaining to them Arab numerals. Have you seen it?
No.
He's like, look, 1 is 1 because it has 1 angle. 2 is 2 because it has 2 angles. So he's writing the numbers and he's showing the angles, the point of each angle. 3 has 3 angles. That's how they came up with the lines. That's how they came up with their squiggles.
Oh my God, my mind's blown.
That we used to, yeah, people were going nuts in the comments.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, 4, and then he's like, it's 4 angles.
Oh, I thought.
Isn't that crazy?
I thought you were gonna mention this one survey that came out that asked like, should Arabic numerals be taught in schools? And
No.
It was a very high.
Americans.
Yeah, of course.
Said no.
No, I mean a majority said yes, but like it was a disturbingly high said no, like 30% or something.
They didn't understand what numbers we use.
That's all we use are Arabic
That's
numerals.
what we
What do
use,
you want?
you guys.
Do you use Roman numerals? I don't. I don't.
No. My mom grew up having to learn Roman numerals in school.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like up to 100 you should probably know, but like beyond that, what's the point?
I don't know up to what point they knew it, but they had to learn both.
Yeah,
Arabic
like
and Roman.
the I, the V, the X, you know.
Yeah.
The LV.
For me, I have to ask you a lot of the time. I'm like, what's this one? And then you're like, that's 27. And I'm like, okay.
Like,
if you say so.
I could just be messing with you.
That's true.
That's right, I'm done.
Oh, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, I'm done, yeah.
Thank you again, because you really like brought Plato's world to life.
Yes.
It's not a good one.
This isn't like his finest moment necessarily,
No, and
but
he grew up in such a crappy world.
Yeah, he did. And so I actually have a lot of compassion for him and the fact that he still was able to kind of like take his experience and he tried. I mean, like he really did. And you can't fault him for that. Like really trying to understand like, okay, like 30 years of my life.
He didn't try by doing anything cruel. He just
Right.
was like, let me teach you.
Like he
To
was
2 guys that were like, no.
Yeah. One guy's like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The other 2 are like,
Yeah.
like literally like,
I think you said it very astutely earlier in the episode of like, he's armed with like his ideals and his trauma.
yes.
Like his own trauma of he's the people at the bottom during the Peloponnesian War that are starving,
Yeah.
that have the plague, that have these tyrants trying to make things worse, unfortunately. And he's like, I want to prevent other people from going through that.
Yeah, that's ultimately, I think he had a good heart.
Yeah.
And he was really intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And also, fun fact about Plato, that's not his real name. His real name is actually lost to history. We don't know his real name.
Why did we call him Plato?
Because gosh, okay, I might be wrong on this.
Okay.
So I'd take this with a grain of salt.
We're taking this as fact.
But I think it had something to do with him being an athlete. He was very strong. And so also kind of another fun fact is a lot of times when he would debate people, he would literally flex on them. I mean that literally. Like he would flex his muscles and like kind of do like
show
the
off how strong
pose.
he was?
Yeah, while his opponent is talking.
So you're trying to argue and the other guy's just like, oh, yeah.
Like literally like, oh, yeah, oh.
Very Greek.
Sorry. Okay. That was a little bit of caffeine that hit.
Imagine giving Plato coffee.
Oh my God.
Everything he could have done.
Everything he could have done. What a shame.
So Plato's name was, we don't know. It could have been
Was we don't know.
what? It could have been anything, really.
Could have been John.
So no one's calling him Plato during this.
No one would have called him Plato. Unless it was like a nickname for him. But
That's so weird. And so does Plato mean athletic or something?
I don't know, but I think it has something to do with that.
With like the athleticism.
Exactly. I
component.
don't know exactly what it means.
Wow.
But yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you I'm so glad you included those fun facts at the end.
Yes. I was like, I wanted to include him in here, but I forgot to write him down. So I'm glad I just remembered.
Yeah. Well, weirdos, we have made a lot of requests of you this episode.
Yes. So let's sum it up.
Resources for Palestine or resources for running for political office. Send them to us.
Send them to us.
historyforweirdos@gmail.com.
Yes. And if you are like, if you're millennial and Gen Z and you just want to take these Platonic ideals and actually like enact them in whatever, your local community, your state government, Congress even, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We'll shout you out. And there was another request that I made during the episode. I was like, comment, but I don't remember what I said.
Well, whatever that was, make sure to comment.
Make sure to leave that comment.
Leave the comment on the episode.
Comment.
Yeah.
And as always, if you rate the podcast, if you leave a review, if you follow or subscribe, it does help us grow. The other big thing that helps us grow is when you share an episode with somebody, because that's how people find us, is through friendship, which
Through
was
friendship,
one
yeah.
of the themes of this episode.
I know. I love it when other like weirdos get connected.
Oh, that's the best. That's
is the
very
best.
best. And then as always, to keep up with us, if you're just interested in seeing a little bit of behind the scenes, you follow us at History for Weirdos on Instagram.
That's right. That's where we post behind the scenes, maybe even a little BTS of this right here.
Of this right here, definitely. I took a
Yeah.
lot of selfies. You'll see them.
This is why I love you.
And thank you so much, weirdos.
Thank you so much. And as always, see you next time.
Adios.